Mic check 212. Mic check 212. Would you please listen to my demo? Would you please listen to my demo? Can you hear me, brothers and my sisters? Coming to you with another live recording at 0700 hours, 54 minutes on Wednesday, May 26, 2021. And this is the follow up on my last talk. I was speaking about do you hear me? Do you see me? Do you understand the words that reside out of my mouth? And the reason I say that is, excuse the wind, it's a windy day. I hope it don't pour down rain in it, which it seems as is trying to do. I don't know if the sun winning or the clouds is true. Now let me stop. They a little bit blue, but a lot of gray in them. So we'll see what happens. And thank you, Win, for joining in. So as I said, the dissension continues with us. I just learned that, I don't know, maybe people say you emphasize this too much. I say, no, this is my everyday life, though. I emphasize things because this is what I experience and go through for no reason. I wish I didn't experience walking out the house being discriminated based on my skin. I wish I can ignore that. As I said last time, how do you live this life and say F you to people and then ignore everything and then be the same people to say, I'm joining this team, I'm in this group, I'm in this organization? How? You ask me who you part of? No one. What's your race? I am me. But I speak up because I know my brown skin is different and is treated different. You can say, you can be, I don't care what nobody says. You can be as tough as you want. You can have all the money. You can fake everything all you want. Grand Rising and Miss Rain and Won't Woman. And you can have everything you want and need. But to ignore everything that surrounds you and around the world, I don't know how you. Oh, thank you. I'm just on my journey rant that I do in the morning. I haven't been on my Brother Talk series. I would love to do that on Thursday and maybe a Friday night. I don't want to go into the Saturday, but Saturday seems as a good night to do it too. And then collaborate with all the brothers that I be seeing on your lives and the other brothers. So that's my goal, is to speak more on that, less on about the dissension of who we are. So maybe that'll come soon. And so I wish I can take the time out and ignore things. Or as I'm walking down the street, what's in my line of sight, and say, man, I wish I could say, that's really not happening. I hear so many stories, and the things I find fascinating is, as a African Descendant Man, we can't hold nobody accountable or responsible, just us. And that's the thing I hate as well, is saying, well, it's your fault. You didn't do it. And then instead of somebody saying, man, what did you think you doing wrong? And you can tell them, that'll be more welcome. I even try to do that when I'm speaking on things. And I try to have an elaborate discussion, not a discussion to just, you gotta think about this. Are we elaborating on the, what's it kind of early? Oh, I love you too, sister. And are we elaborating on getting better, or are we just going to elaborate on the points? And I think most people can misunderstand my when I'm speaking or what I'm speaking about. It's not to blame women. It's not to blame men. It's not to really blame. It's not to blame no one. It's to say, hey, have you seen this? And have you seen it in this type of way? So, and for a man, stop just saying he hate women. We hate that. We actually, when you listen to a woman, you don't say, "Oh, you must hate men," and or you must be this certain way. You know, a lot of men hate that. It's like it's as like sit down, and then when brothers talk about, I want to educate and build with brothers. How are you educating and building with brothers when your whole talk is, well, he weak, and then we use these terms that mean nothing. Don't use a term. Just say, well, brother, I don't think you being faithful. I want to hear those. I don't think you're being honest. I don't think you being caring enough. I don't think you being kind enough. Instead of just saying he a simp, he a beta, he alpha and masculine. Well, how does that help that young man or that adult man that you're calling these things? And then you would say, well, he's not listening. Well, are you listening? And that's what I would love. That's why I created the Brother Talk series. And that's why I'm so open. This is part of my journey / journal that I am taking on. And maybe giving women the access to a guy that's not womanizing women, that don't have a lot of women, that's not having sex with multiple women, that's not even having sex, or that's not out there, his aim is only to get in her. All those things that women say that the persona or the facade that black men, quote unquote, African descendant, indigenous men are just doing. And then the other side of the man is saying, as me, that's not what's really happening. That's not what really going on. But we don't hear those men because we got so accustomed of the destruction or the build down of the African descendant men in America. And around the world, you see brothers in UK now, the Haitian brothers, the African brothers. It's just like, it's just saying, man, when are we going to come together and stop saying we hate each other? We don't. We don't work together, but we do. It's just that I'm not going to work with someone that keeps telling me I'm something that I'm not. And just as I said, what is you're talking about? You're talking about being honest? Is it he not being truthful? What is it? Then you call that out when the brother's doing it, and you go to the brother and say, brother, or you say, sister, that's not true. Like, what is it you really are trying to do? And if they don't have a discussion, why would I be a part of someone or think someone is doing good and then try to, sorry, bad is bad. I don't care what nobody say. If a man go out and tell other men to be with other race women, to hate his mother, to hate his, no, I mean literally. I don't mean because he with other race women. If he's telling them to be with other race women, he started a movement for only black men, which is not happening. Is actually, I'm doing it in reverse. I'm speaking on a man's side. If he do all these negative things toward his race, women, then he go on the stage and podium and say, this is the reason why we do this. Well, we got to be more, what's the word? Obedient. And I heard this. The guy said, when he see the cops, he put his hands up. He put all his windows down, put everything on top of his roof, and he put his hands up and he wait for the cop. Because he said the cop might be scared. Hold up, wait. We took the culpability from the cop right there. So and then he said that no black man ever got shot. Well, no black man in the history of police officering have ever been shot because that black man didn't comply or he did comply. That's a lie. I have a gun in the backseat of my car. I'm letting you know. And the cop ended up shooting him. So what is he talking about? And then say, well, he got a record. Wow. So this young man can have a record for something minor, for stealing out of a store at 13 or taking something. And we act as every young man. No, I'm not in the bad area. It's just, I love it how traffic is today. And the wind and the weather is helping me. And even if it was a bad area, so what? But I love how the men and the women that does that, you comply to the police, but the police is scared of you. So our Every race scared of black men for no reason. Right now, I'm standing minding my business. So every race should be scared of me as a black man right now, right? Every race. But that's what I'm talking about. We say have etiquette and manners, but everybody else is supposed to treat us as SHIT. And then how do we supposed to respond? Ignore it. But then they say you didn't check it. This is why it's happening. And then when you check it, you would say, why are you checking it? You're a man. You're a man. Don't worry about that. Mind your business. You see how that goes? We don't have no culpability, and then we don't cultivate our own culture. We don't even stick on our own code. So we stick on our own code, and them other people still scared of you. That has nothing to do with you. Just as honorable brother, rest his soul, Martin said, somebody punch you, you punch them. They punch you, then you say, I'm not gonna punch you back. You apologize, and you do everything in your power to say, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. You try to make amends and do all the things. With that person, when they keep punching and hurting you, that's not your forgiveness or your fault anymore. You move on. You let them keep doing that. Now, how you respond is up to you. After that, you could defend yourself, or you could tell that person, stop. You give them if I keep warning you, but you gotta remember, sometimes the person that became the bigger person might have been the starter. And then sometimes you might have to dig a little deeper, in which we don't do. We might have to say, well, maybe that this sister or brother that I'm hitting, I might have started this, but what started it? What did I actually say? And that's the part we can't ignore either. So if you go back think about your child when you was a baby, things that you seen after 3 years of age, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, when you became your first accomplishment. You wanted to climb up that tree and you climbed that tree. How did you feel? And didn't you want to show everybody? Didn't you want everybody to see? And as you became better at other things, you wanted to share that information, but in a good way. You didn't say, well, forget it. You see what we do? Well, forget it because he or she did not learn what I was trying to show them. Think about that. You didn't give up. Why are we giving up so easy now? Why would a African Descendant Man say, oh, trust me, this is where I'm going with my talks. I noticed from a young age, my race women didn't look my way. My mind wasn't created until I got older, but my mind was created when I got older by the direction I took. And even now, I can change my direction in which I am. So it's no longer black women don't want me. Well, guess what? And it can sound funny and stupid to people. Black women did not look my way since I was a child. I grew up in a certain, I guess you could say, neighboring surrounding. I don't call it hood. Grew up in the projects. I was not what you call that? If you put me in a binoculars or a sight and you put all the guys together, I was not the one looked at. But that's not going to create the harbor feelings. But I'm also not going to say, well, I want those type of women to look my way, but I didn't want those women. You see what I'm saying? I heard a woman say that. Well, the dark-skinned brothers didn't look my way, but I didn't want a dark-skinned brother. I wanted the light-skinned brother. It's that going back. You slapping you did all the things you can do, or that culture did what it can do for you. It showed you dark-skinned men. But if you don't want the dark-skinned men or a dark-skinned woman, how are you speaking on this? Maybe you should be speaking on something better. And then maybe in those what you call them, platforms or those spaces or those panels, you should be doing more listening than trying to talk. Because if you don't want a light-skinned woman, and you in a light-skinned woman space, and I'm not saying you X her out, because some people just X each other out. Why are you mad? That makes no sense. See, I come from an area of logic and sense. If your area of understanding is not about logic and sense, you cannot have a comprehension with the people you are around. You are no longer comprehending each other. So my example is, I love dark-skinned women. And then we brought up the new, and I brought up hate, like you got patriotism, you got patriotism. Well, if I hate on women in general, I understand. And this is probably where women think I'm hating them. I hate my mother because I tell the truth. Like example, you can say it's a stupid statistic or it don't make sense, but it's very important to me. If I'm a man and I know it's important where my seed go, now you can say whatever you want to me after this. I don't care because I got to speak with truth as well. If I'm gonna be honest and open and caring what type of black man I am, African descendant man I am, indigenous man, I have to be honest with you. I don't want to give my seed to a woman that had 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 abortions. See, but that's wrong to tell a woman that. Would that be wrong if she never told me that? We're not supposed to talk about her past. But if you had an abortion, I don't care if you took that new pill. It's a new pill that came out so many years ago. And I'm going to lose people on this one. And that's cool. If it's a pill that came out, that still messes up your body. It's bad enough if we drink, smoke, get high, use crack, use acid, heroin, meth. That's okay. That's okay, right? That messes up your body too. Well, even when you birthing a child, there could be complications. You'll say, well, black women are the #1 die of death, so you just want a woman to have your babies. And then you got to throw all these other stigmas at me of protection and providing. I don't care what the man's job is. He should be able to protect and provide, right? But that don't matter. See, we're going into other things. That's why I say other things that no longer matter for us as a race. A high value man, a low value. What's a low value man? A one that don't take care of his father, didn't mention money. It's a low value man, a man that's not faithful. I didn't mention money. I could go on with a whole bunch of attributes a man and what I'm speaking of should have when it comes to being a father. And not saying it's going to be perfect or whatever. So if the number black on black crime, that's real. We do kill each other the most. White people kill each other the most. White on white crime is real. Asian on Asian crime. You see? But if you're going to sit here and not try to have a discussion or dialogue with each other, I think every channel we have out here is useless. And I don't care if a brother, and then as the sisters. You talk about a pink pill and being with other race men. Again, what is your mentality? Just because I go choose a white woman, a Puerto Rican one, what is my mentality? Do I throw away my good ideals as, man, I want a woman that's very honest. So if I go out my race, is she honest? I don't want an anger-filled woman. So I'm gonna go out my race and I'm gonna give me an anger-filled woman, a woman that's not honest, she's not faithful, that had multiple abortions or had abortions, and then no reason behind it, and have 2 kids. See what I'm saying? It's see, we don't look at that. See, there's no culpability and forget responsibility and accountability. There's no culpability in that person to have anything good inside of them already. Or are they trying to get better? So as I'm talking, I lived my life single for the majority part. There's nothing wrong with that, brothers. Nothing wrong with being single. Nothing wrong with being a virgin either. But in our society, we allow them to dictate and control our minds. They tell us one thing. Here's an example. We know if you watch sports, I'm gonna use basketball. Basketball gonna be my example because I know I read it, I studied it, I wanted to be a coach. I did all these things for basketball. So the player is called the MVP, meaning the most valuable player. Now, if I ask you, who's the most valuable person in your life? You'll give me all the great reasons, right? All of them, even some bad, but they're going to outweigh the great reasons. So in basketball, the most valuable player should be what? Of all the great reasons, they're going to outweigh the bad. The most valuable player can be on the AC team, but you can say, well, the guy in the first seed team he's that. So you watch both players. This is what makes it funny about the most valuable player. The most valuable player is not always the better record. Aha. See how you see? We think about what is high value and low value. So if you use money, high value has nothing to do with money. He can have high income and have a low value mindset. So if we go first in the sports is basketball is points. These both guys, the guy on the AC team, the lower seed that had the lesser record, has the same amount of points scored as the guy a game, or he have a few more points average the game. And if you watch how they lose and win, both guys part of the loss, regardless how you look at it. Whether in the fourth quarter, the first, second, or third quarter, he scored 8 points. But in the last 2 minutes, throughout 72, this year was 72 games because of what's going on in the world instead of 82. They both performed very well. They hit game-winning shots. They assisted game-winning shots. They game was off that day. Man, he got a game-winning block. Even though it was 3 minutes, that game-winning block allowed his one player to get a fast break or an open shot. But we don't give each other that much props. So the most valuable player to us is that mean he has money instead of saying that, well, the most valuable player, man, is what did this person bring to his team? So as a man, what do you bring to your family? Whether it's your immediate family as your mother, brother, sister, cousin. No, your mother, brother, sister, and father. And then you have nieces and nephews. But then your cousins and everything, what do you bring to them? That's high value. That's the type of man I would see. But if we for years pitched a certain type of man is good, look who we give most props to. Think about that. Who do we get the most props to in our society? It's not good, man. If you go into social media right now or any media, the men that was out in the streets because he changed his life get the most props. But the men that, man, then they got to use that. It's almost as everything was created by a demon, and I mean in a bad way. It's a trap for everything we do. A brother can talk about good or women. He can get a collage of women, and then now get a good following. And they asking him questions, and he telling them, niggas say that sound wrong or bad. But this man is really giving out a whole bunch of truth. Maybe it don't sound so pretty all the time. Because sometimes when you're gonna give out truth, it's not gonna sound pretty. It's not gonna sound always gentle. If I'm giving the truth to a young man that's outside late at night in the streets, he's seeing his friends die, or the guy he called friends, he's getting arrested in trouble. Should I not tell this young man that maybe some of your actions at a certain time of day, who you hang out with, the way you move, what you are doing, it can be 50% of his problem, or it can be highly solely 100% of that problem. It can be 80%. But should I not tell? But when I say it, I'm supposed to make it sound all dainty and beautiful. What if it don't sound dainty and beautiful? What if it don't sound talking now? I say, brother, no, you need to not do that. You say, oh man, you know what you're talking about. You ain't. I don't gotta be in the streets. I know too many people that died in the streets. So being in the street is just a phrase. A woman, you want a man that's hard, hood, and still have God. Everybody has God, but that don't even make sense. That's not even comprehensible. You gonna either have one or the other. Either he gonna do for his family, or he gonna be hard and hood in the streets. That's why if you saying that's what you're gonna look for, well, guess what? Most as such he's gonna do half of the time. If you take 10 women and you give them that hard hood God man, them guys might be a cheater. He might be abusive. You might but if the guy don't live by that, you gotta remember, I don't compare all the women, because some women are more faithful than other women. Some women are more honest than other women, just as all men. Some men are more faithful, some are more honest. I will sit there and get to know the HEL or the heaven into a woman that's being honest with me. You're like, well, she don't communicate. Well, you know what I can say to her, which I have done recently. I'm talking to a lady. I said, you was gonna stop talking to me just for that. I said, stop. We too old for that. I said, we made it to a certain age. I'm 38. You 30. You too old for that. This ain't high school. You're not 13 either. We're not little kids. You can come and talk to me. And then if after that you feel as you want to say, if you choose, you can make your choice. We keep telling people, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. Oh, so you want to work your life with so is that the one you want to build and have a life partner with, a marriage and love, or is that a person you just having sex with? So you got to understand that. Are you having relations or are you having relationships? Are you just loving, giving your love away? Are you really loving? Are you a part of love or you just want something for the time? You're trying to fill a void. I don't know. You have to, so you got to start making decisions. And my code is, if you don't have a decision, you don't have the decision is a plan. A man don't have to have all these, he don't know. If I've never been somewhere, so I've never been to Jamaica. I don't know what to expect in Jamaica, but a brochure and what other people tell me in a Jamaican person. So I might want to visit or do those things that those people said. But in my ideal, when I get there, I might do a lot of those things because you do got to have a plan. But it's going to be our way. I'm going to put myself into it. She's going to put herself into it. It's going to be our way, not what somebody else's way is. Am I right or correct? Or no? So I hope that some of the things I say make sense, it's logical, it provoke you to think or cause you to think, or it give you a certain understanding. No, you may not agree with everything I say. And no, I don't agree with everything you say. But I'm not going to run away from how you say it. I listen to people, panels and lie. I watch those women that do the pink pill. I watch the MGTOW, the Black Lives Matters. I watch them. I listen. I heard what they say. I took it in. I did not dismiss anything they said because you know why? Because that was from their point of view, their POV, point of view, perspective. And I can't dismiss it. I want to either take information, or if I'm about what they're saying, I'm going to honor it. If not, I keep it moving. I take the good. I remove all the good that I need and eradicate and delete all the things that wasn't for me. If they say all black men, it's not about me. All black men ain't fathers. A lot of black men don't have children. All black men not into drugs. All black men never was a dope dealer. All black men is not everything you say. So all my things is not to all black women. If you a wife and a mother and you do all those things, how are you mad at me? Or how am I mad at? And if not, I'm not mad at you. I'm gonna say, if that's your whole thinking, if you build your whole rhetoric and our whole narrative, but a brother telling you, you gotta hear what he's saying, and you ready to diss him, hear what he's saying, you ready to get him, hear what he's saying, then you're not about him. So you have a great day, stay hydrated, and use your own mind, be who you are called to be. Shalom.